Welcome to the Blame It on the Boogie podcast. This is episode number 28. It'll be a 2 and an 8. 28. As always, we just 4 today, 3 good-looking brothers, average brothers that's here talking a little about sports. Tonight, we have with me, starting with my brother on the top right, we got Dante Geechee Dan Nash from Phoenix, Arizona. We got Antoine DOOZE Williams from Florissant, Missouri. And you have me, Rod D, right here in the Detroit, Michigan. As you can see, our brother D is absent tonight, taking care of some family issues. Shout out to D. Prayers for you, my brother.
D.
Shout out Dorian.
Everything will be good, but you know, every now and then, brother, take care of stuff.
Damn.
But
no freaks tonight.
Yeah, we have no freaks tonight. But just like you know, in the game, somebody get hurt, somebody get taken out, ejected, like Giannis did last night.
Next man up.
Show must go on. The next man up. So speaking of next man up,
that was some bull.
D used to do the recap, but today we got Geechee doing the recap. Geechee, tell them what we talked about last week.
Oh, I'm doing a recap? Oh, okay. Thought y'all was going to get there.
You just said you was a recap.
His voice. Well, real quick, we talked about the World Series ratings. I did. Nobody confirmed I was going to do it. So, yeah, we talked about the World Series horrible ratings last week. Francis Ngannou getting robbed in Saudi Arabia by Fury. We have a quick update on that coming up in a minute. We talked about Mark Davis firing our guy, Josh McDaniels, in the GM, or as Dorian like to say it, Mark Davis in his haircut, bad barber. NC Ballers Part 2, Trash Adina. Talked about the Buffaloes getting robbed, all their jewelry and their swag, and and the squad they played too. Let's make that point. Cease and desist. The NFL, and probably one of our favorite segments last week was Joe Smith and his wife's story, the OnlyFans little saga that was going on last week. That was good, y'all. If y'all didn't see that, make sure y'all go back and check out that video from episode 27. And be sure to subscribe when you go check out that video. That was hot last week. Joe Smith and Keisha. And actually, what else we do? We was talking about who was shining in the NBA, you know, to start the season, to get it going. And then finally we did our rest in pieces to who all died last week. Bobby Knight. Who else we had passed?
Walter Davis.
Walter Davis.
Back into that story a little bit more. We talked a lot of football. We talked a lot of football with the trade deadlines. We didn't talk too much football. And now with basketball season started back up. And then finally we ended the show, of course, with East St. Louis is on, the Flyers update. We'll talk about that later. So that was a quick rundown of last week. Again, did you get a chance to see that? Go back and check out episode 27 and subscribe and follow y'all.
As Geech said, click that subscribe button, that like button, the follow button, the notification button. Hit all the buttons. Click the cash out button, the DOOZE.
We want money.
And also, you can go right to our website, the BIOTBpodcast.com. It's for short, like Dante said, the biatch.com, biatchpodcast.com.
Biatch.
So I'm gonna start asking for cash like a preacher, like a Baptist preacher.
Yeah. Go get it, D. All right, so we're gonna get right into this.
Let me get my
do this because we knew this.
So last we talked about the Fury Francis fight, and how it was a travesty, and how that they would never allow Fury to lose that fight because it was another fight, a championship fight that was already set up. It was supposed to be done in December, but Dante, something happened this week. What happened this week?
Yeah, what happened?
Dante don't want to talk, dudes.
Well, we saw what happened last week, the week before. I'm talking. You know I got the delay. I'm still on Mars, y'all. But we know what happened. We saw it last week. Fury got beat. He's going to need a little more time in the gym. One of the best quotes from that fight last week, one of the commenters called Fury a 6'9" bag of milk. So that sums it up right there. So Fury needs a little more time to get in shape for this big championship fight. And I'm sure the Saudis had something to say about that too. So, so that's what's going on with that. So that fight's been moved back to February, y'all. But in the meantime, we got UFC this Saturday. We got Prochaska against Pereira. So that should be a good fight. Matter of fact, last week there was a UFC. It was absolutely boring. I won't even mention the guy's name that fought. So that's a quick update on those that like the mixed martial arts and boxing, like myself.
Dante is our resident boxing
6'9" bag of milk.
Boxing UFC expert.
What was it they used to call the boxers? They used to call them tomato cans.
Yeah,
I can't fight.
Fury got a lot of power, man, and he can box. He actually has some boxing skills. He took that fight way too lightly.
10 rounds.
He took that fight way too lightly. That's why it ended the way it ended.
10 rounds. A beatdown.
With them having to cheat for him in order for him to get this next payday. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm still gonna watch the fight in February.
We're not gonna talk about JC Pelaya, the ref who scored that 96-93.
It's all about the money.
I am too.
We ain't gonna talk about him. We ain't gonna talk about him. We have all our listeners searching for him, trying to send him some dirty emails. So all right, so the next thing we're gonna talk about, it is the beginning of
by the way, I heard basketball announced a new challenger.
Say it again.
Is it what happened?
See, I'm ready.
The beginning of college basketball, men and women. And this week, to start everything off, man, we had some crazy games. In the men's league, Michigan State, who was highly ranked, a team that most think will make it to the Final Four, not after what they did this past week. They lost in overtime to James Madison. And we got money to anybody that can tell us where James Madison is located. Don't nobody know. So, but Michigan State, again, a top 5 team. I think they were second. I think they were ranked as high as second. But they lost to small school James Madison. And then on top of that,
number 4. Yeah.
On top of that, it was 4. Okay. On top of that, the defending women's national champion, the Louisiana State University Tigers, lost to the Colorado Buffaloes. So the question is, one, is Michigan State way overranked? And two, did LSU were they still high off the NIL money and wasn't ready for the season? Dante, I know that LSU is your team. you love you some LSU. So talk to me about your girls, man. What happened to them?
Dude, you want to start that off?
Yeah, I can start that off. I think I think Charles Barkley said it best a long time ago. He's like, when you first win a championship, everybody starts getting recognition and fame, and everybody can't deal with that. So like he said, when the first time they went to the finals in Phoenix, that summer, the following summer, everybody, was getting endorsements, for commercials, restaurants, and all kind of things, and you sort of lose your focus.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Pat Riley used to always say, it's the disease of me. So once you win, everybody thinks that well, I'm the reason we won, and I should be getting all this, and they are getting like we said, the NIL. So that is definitely a part of it. But you sort of lose sight, and like what's the saying they always say, you got to keep the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
All these things and all the spoils of war are possible because you're a winning basketball team, because you put basketball first. You focused on your craft, you honed in, your skills, and you were the greatest basketball team last year. And so you got everything that came with it. But, somewhere along the line that, some signals got crossed. They got thrown off a little bit, got a little distracted. It happens, but they'll be all right. Sometimes it's good they went ahead and got it out of the way, first game as well. So
I know the coach, Kim Mulkey, she was not happy. And her thing was you played like you practice. They were, they had the same thought as a lot of these other teams. Well, we just roll the ball out there and we're gonna win. Don't know how we can play around and practice. Yeah, we champs. We won. We can champs. We can play around and practice all we want to. Go out there and we gonna just ball, and you just can't do that, man. Now, and especially with the team like Colorado. Colorado was a dangerous game for them because those girls been together for 4 years. They're a veteran team. They were ranked 20th. They were ranked 20th, so it wasn't like they were, ranked. Yeah, just a horrible team. So, LSU came in with the wrong attitude and got smashed in the mouth.
It happens.
It happens. Thankfully, it's the first game of the season. They got a long season left to go. So, they'll hopefully turn this thing back around and go on. But the biggest issue is, they got the big head, man. They got the big head.
That's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is. But you know what? Experience is the greatest teacher. So having that experience, like you said, early in the season, that that'll be great for him. I think.
Say that, Dante. Go ahead, Dante.
You just touched on it, Rodney. They played a ranked team in Colorado, like you just mentioned. So it wasn't a lot like they lost, like Michigan State did, to an unranked team in James Madison. And we also have to remember, everybody is going to be gunning after LSU. So it's to be expected. Like Duel said, that's a good sign. Everybody, you have the target on your back now. So this is a wake-up call for them. Just to let them Neil money, all the accolades, the new cars, all the bling. Hey, now you're back on the court. So now you got to put those numbers back up. But again, I don't have a big problem with it. None of the girls shot well. So it wasn't just Angel Reese. It was the whole team. They're all lackadaisical. So I don't have a problem with that. But other than that, it's cool to see college basketball is back full in effect. As you guys know, I watch college basketball more than I do the NBA. So I'll be full-fledged into this right now, seeing what my guys are going to do or aren't going to do this year. So other than that, I think the worst loss of the opening night for basketball was Michigan State. I'm not too concerned about LSU.
Definitely Michigan State. That loss, and again, they had some of the same sentiments. They came out there thinking, oh, we Michigan State. This ain't nothing but James Madison. We're going to go out here and we're going to roll up on these boys. But at the end of the day, man, when you got a team that's playing together, you can beat anybody. You can beat anybody. And these guys.
If you play hard, you can beat anybody.
Even though they're on a team, they're on a much smaller college or whatever. They don't have the accolades. They weren't, 4 and 5 star recruits, this, that, and the other. But they've been playing basketball just as long as the other kids. They got skills. Otherwise, they wouldn't have scholarships. They have skills. So you put these guys out there, man, and they play as a team, and you don't, you get rolled up like State did. And But the thing about State,
there's only so many scholarships around to good players.
Exactly. And again, with the well, it all goes back. Everything relates. You got the transfer portal where you get all these. I'm able to move and go to all these different schools or whatever. So now teams are able to retool a whole lot faster. You don't have to wait for your freshman recruits to play for 2-3 years before they'll be able to contribute a lot to your team. Now you can go out and get what you want. So State, being a big brand, you got Izzo as the coach. They'll be okay. Also, at the end of the day, when come tournament time, we fill out our brackets, and all of us are horrible with the predictions. State's gonna be one of the ones that we put on that 1 or 2 line. But right now, they look foolish for losing to James Madison. And again, no disrespect to James Madison. No disrespect to James Madison. Because they ball. They ball. But State should have won that game. But so that's our NCAA basketball. Like Dante said, I really enjoy it.
It's no different than when these teams get in the tournament and they lose to like Harbough.
Yeah. So the thing is, a tournament, anything can happen. To prepare for you to get they ready to go, and just win or go home. But this is the first game of the season. How are you not ready for the first game of the season? But
yeah, how do you come out flat in the first game of the season?
How do you come out flat? James Madison. And we're gonna talk about some other folks coming out flat when we get to the
real quick, Rod. Another quick point since I got my shirt on. Yeah. One more point on that you brought up with the Neil in college basketball. I'm very intrigued to see how Caleb Love does with Arizona. I think Arizona will probably be one of the teams I have in my Final Four this year. Arizona's roster is outstanding. And I'm very intrigued to see how Caleb Love fits with that and what they do in the Pac-12 and as we move forward through the college basketball season. Speaking of Neil and these players that went through the transfer portal. And since we were talking about Michigan, because remember, Caleb Love tried to go to the University of Michigan and all that got messed up. So here he is out here in my state. So I'm definitely going to cheer for him, even though he's in another uniform. I'm just very intrigued and hope that he has a good season down there with Arizona. So I just wanted to throw that out real quick. Shout out Caleb Love.
That's cool. Like Dante said, NCAA basketball is very exciting, and I love the fact that there's a game on every night somewhere. You can turn on the game on one of these 50,000 stations that we have and watch a basketball, watch college players playing to get yourself ready for March when we have our horrible brackets again. But anyway, yeah, last year wasn't good at all. Another thing we talked about last week is the unfortunate death of Adam Johnson, NHL player. But something has come about from that. We don't have our resident NHL expert here, but we're going to talk about this anyway. One of the things that's come about, they're proposing rule changes that will require neck protectors. For those that don't know, he got slashed, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're proposing that all players will now wear these neck protectors, and since that has come out, the sales for these neck protectors have soared. So the question that Dante proposed to us is, why haven't all of the hockey leagues adopted a mandatory equipment, these mandatory neck protectors? What is the reason that you think they don't want to make this mandatory, Dante? Dante,
I think we kind of touched on this a little bit last week with the one word being tradition, especially in hockey. That's always been their sport. Like you said, they didn't even wear face protectors or anything else. But what I did, not only from that, was the I guess the backlash that came out from that. In particular, a lot of the backlash that came out towards Mr. Petgrave there. You're going to see what happened with this and why this led to that. So in regards to the sales going up on net protectors, there's been a lot of racist vitriol in regards to hockey fans. These are some of the headlines that you saw all over the internet, all over, everywhere, in regards to Matt Petgrave in that incident. Like the one in the center of the screen there, you guys can see handcuffs, and they got Adam Johnson with an angel ring over his head. I mean, these are some of the things that are being promoted out there. And then right below, you see some of the comments from the guy Reed Spar of what he had to say. We have become so detached with reality that you can watch a black man murder someone during the ice hockey game. Excuse me. So that's just some of the things that have come out. But what it really boils down to, like you were saying, this has put pressure not only on hockey around the world, but especially here in the NHL to wear these neck guards, as you can see here. Some of the things I thought were quite interesting. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me bring it up some for you. It's only some organizations, Rodney, are requiring players to wear these neck gear. You know what I mean? These neck protectors. In particular, the league where Adam Johnson was killed, the League Ice Hockey League in England, they made it mandatory. But I found it interesting that the Pittsburgh Penguins, where he used to play for, they made it mandatory only in their minor league system. Keep that in mind. And then U.S. hockey, which a lot of these in America here, where a lot of these kids come right out of high school at 17 and 18, go right into, it recommends that they wear them, but it's not mandated. Even in Canada, they mandate it, but nowhere else. Up there where Dorian's wife, shout out to Tara, even in Minnesota where Adam Johnson was from, they don't mandate it. So what do they all do? They defer to U.S. hockey. So that shows a problem right there of what's going on with this and why the sales have increased. So because this gentleman had to die on the ice of a freak accident, which I still call it freak. They're trying to say it was intentional. I watched the video over and over and over again. The one problem I have is there's only one side, one angle. You only see the ice from one side instead of the other one. But each time I've watched that video, I've slowed it down. It looks like at Petgrave, he was kind of hip checked, and that's how his leg flew up. But again, everybody has their own opinion, especially over in England. I mean, I didn't even want to show all the comments and everything coming out from England. So, but that's what was going on. To me, it's still like an accident. But it goes back to the question, like you said, Rodney. And one of the things, how long has hockey been around? The only change, what was the last uniform change that they've made in hockey? Does hockey even have a concussion protocol? Hockey is the only sport in the world, especially here in America, which combines basically like 4 or 5 other sports, where you can literally get away with fighting. So nobody says anything when these guys drop the gloves and go to fight and somebody hits their head on the ice. Oh, it's part of the game. So nobody thinks about that. That's the only sport outside of mixed martial arts or combat sports where you are allowed to actually fight. But we have all this uproar with that. But again, it goes back to equipment, updating the rules. So I still like to focus in on themselves. And here's another question for you, right? Who's to say that there won't be some kind of civil law for Hockey League because they've never improved or advanced their equipment for safety? There have been other kids that have died with the same injury that you don't hear about. There was one last year.
So let's go back to the incident that happened. It was a routine play. Well, it wasn't routine. It was a common play in hockey, and unfortunately, his leg came up and hit Johnson. It's just the wrong spot at the wrong time. For him to intentionally try to make that move, the brother would have tore every groin muscle he has. Right? There was to look at that video. There's no way any sane person can look at that and say this was an intentional hit. And all of the like my man with the post right there saying, how can a black man murder a white man? Come on, man. For you to even attempt to say that was murder, come on, man. Now,
exactly. He could attempt to do that like 30 more times and couldn't.
Exactly. And will never do the same thing
at all.
So unfortunately, it was an unfortunate accident, but it was an accident. From that accident,
let's show the viewers.
Say again. Well, pull it up. Find it. Pull it up.
From the accident, right? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Rodney. Go ahead. My apologies.
Yeah, go ahead and pull up.
No, my apologies.
Now a terrible tragedy at a hockey game. A 29-year-old man is dead after he was slashed in the neck by another player's skate. It's being called a freak accident, but that death may have been prevented by one simple, inexpensive piece of gear, a neck guard. Les Trent has details, and we warn, they're graphic.
It looks like a routine hockey collision on the ice, but look again. You can see the skate of the player in red fly up and hit the other player in the neck.
We knew it was not good.
Carrie Johnson was home in Minnesota watching a live stream of her nephew, former NHL player Adam Johnson, taking part in a professional game in England. That's when she saw, to her horror, her stricken nephew, blood streaming, being taken off the...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we need to show that part.
We need to see for that. I don't need to show anything graphic, but as you saw there, if you can go back, you can go back, check our link, check our page. He got hip checked. I've watched hockey for years, and like you said, Rodney, for him to try to do some pirouette to just kick up one leg,
kick somebody in the throat,
he would have messed up his other leg. It was a hip check accident, and that's how I view it.
Yeah, it was a horrible thing. I mean, just to look at that
accident. So
it was a horrible thing, but it was a freak accident. Now, so here's the issue. Like they were talking about in the story, it could have been prevented, but the traditionalism from the NHL hockey, it goes back to the NHL hockey because where the money goes, that's where all the power is.
It's all about
you got NHL, which is the biggest hockey league in the world. You have the NHL, and they, for whatever reason, refuse to make any kind of uniform changes without having a big, huge fight. Even though just putting a simple little guard on your neck that couldn't weigh more than a couple of ounces, it is not going to restrict your movement whatsoever. And unfortunately, this wasn't the first time that someone has died because of being hit by a skate. It does happen. And if you can prevent even one death, you should do it. Just like when these idiots that ride motorcycles without helmets, put a freaking helmet on. It's gonna save your life. Same thing here. Put the little bitty piece of plastic on your neck that could save your life. Just do it. It doesn't make sense. And again, the thing
that's not plastic, Rodney. That's Kevlar. That's Kevlar, Rodney. That's not plastic. That's Kevlar. If one of the things you see in the corners of those pictures, even the Romans and all these guys in armor, you notice in those pictures in the corner, what do they have on? Neck protectors. The Groguettes, I forgot the actual name for them. That's why I wanted to bring it up. And the reason I brought this picture back up, Rod, here's another tidbit. You see the young lady there, Sydney Erickson, wearing her neck protector because she was once injured. The female leagues, for the most part, the women leagues, most of the women wear these neck guards. But it's a man thing. It's that ego thing that we're talking about, the traditionalism of hockey. That's just crazy. They've been wearing neck protectors since medieval days when it came to swords and weapons around. You have razor blades on your feet, nothing to protect you.
Nothing to protect you.
And it's just sad all the way around.
What? 12-inch blade on the bottom of your foot.
It was.
You know, so like I said,
it's the moral of this writing too. Hopefully, the implement safety features, and hopefully this racist appetite slows down against Matt Petgrave, who's basically had to go in hiding. He's been getting death threats. He's taking himself off IG and everything else, and he's basically waiting to see if the London authorities or wherever in England are going to try to charge him with manslaughter. And I hope it doesn't come to that. But I will say this: his hockey career is over.
You brought that up. You brought that up. Where is his team in this? Where is his team showing the support for this brother? You know, they should be out there. They should be out there front and center, fussing, arguing, letting everybody know that, again, this is horrible, but it was an accident. There was no malice intended on this thing whatsoever. Whereas the league should have come out a long time ago, because this happened, what, like 2 weeks ago? The league should have come out a long time ago and said, this is an accident, you know, to let this thing be known that there was no malice intended whatsoever. It was just a freak accident that happened, but they have yet to come out and do anything.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of what Rod said, one of his teammates should definitely come forth and, you know, speak, you know, on the character of the player,
yes,
of their teammate. So somebody should step up and say, hey, you know, this guy, he's not like that. That's not in his character at all.
Have been. His teammates.
Well, that's good then.
So some of his teammates have actually come out and said just that. He has had teammates come out to defend him. The problem is, as Rod likes to say, is all those videos and commentary are being suppressed. So some of his players did come to his defense, say he's not like that. That was a free play. You don't see any of those stories or interviews with his teammates. It's being suppressed. They are out there. I found it.
It's the better
so
story.
That kind of answers that. But again, this kind of shows you that racist appetite that's going on.
Yeah, it's a better story saying the black dude killed the white dude. You know, that's the better story.
And it's sad that the controversy always sells, and that's what everybody goes for. That's the society we live in today. So,
but here it is, like Dante said, this man is in hiding. He's in hiding. He can't do the sport that he loves, enjoys, and he's been doing for most of his life. He can't go out there and do that because you got people that want to put him in jail. So, and again, who based on this, who's going to invite him over to play on their team? Nobody. So, and then they got the picture Dante got down here at the bottom. Why I gotta look like a mugshot? Why I gotta look like a mugshot? But on another note, when I first saw this, you know, the pictures are real small when you look at it. They look like Dorian in the orange.
It does.
They look like D right there in the orange, man.
That's why I put that on there. I wish you could, like, I was gonna tell Dorian, don't take no trip.
Pull up one of them Dorian pictures.
You pull up these Dorian pictures. That sounded like him, man.
Yeah, it does. It is.
So,
I almost put a picture up, Brian. I'm glad you brought that up. That's why I used that shot, because he has his dreads down and everything. He looks like Dorian. And Dorian's our resident hockey guy, folks.
He's our hockey guy. So D was on the ice. But anyway, that's a tragedy. And one that I hope, you know, in the end, that the brother will find a little redemption and be able to continue to pursue, you know, the sport that he so loves. Now, to a recap from the biggest story in college football, since last we spoke, Michigan, well, technically, he didn't get fired. Technically, he resigned. However, at the urging of the University of Michigan,
the behest,
you know, they you know, asked him very nicely, in as Mike Greenberg said, in a stern manner, to go ahead and just leave, and he did. He went ahead and resigned, and on his way out, he made it known that all of the quote unquote sign stealing, him going to the sidelines of other teams, whatever he did it for himself. That Jim Harbaugh at the University of Michigan didn't know what he was doing. He was just trying to improve his standing within the coaching ranks. So he cheated. He was the one that cheated. But at the end of the day, even if it is true, Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of the University of Michigan. And he's in charge of everything that happens at the University of Michigan. So even though Connor's saying that he did everything because it was done under Jim Harbaugh's watch, that falls on him. That falls on him. So the question comes in about what should the Big Ten do? Again, and what should the NCAA do? Well, as far as the NCAA, we won't hear about anything that they're doing an investigation, but we won't hear about that for another 3 years because that's how the NCAA works. They take them forever to do anything. So don't worry about them. But the Big Ten has been doing an investigation this past week, and they've had a lot of conversations with the ADs and the head coaches of all the other teams. And the other ADs, the other head coaches want blood, and they want Jim Harbaugh to suffer. So the new commissioner of the Big Ten, his name escapes me right now. Let me find out right quick. But anyway, the new commissioner, Tony Pirelli.
Palioli, something like
Tony Pettetti.
Yeah,
Tony Pettetti. Tony Pettetti, the new Big Ten. Well, he's fairly new. He's been there like a year. But he's been charged with doing an investigation, figuring out what happened, and then executing some kind of punishment for those that were involved. So the rumor has been for all week correction. It wasn't a rumor. The Big Ten sent Michigan a letter telling them what they found and what they plan on doing. That was on Monday, and they gave Michigan until Wednesday to rebut the letter that they sent to them. So one of the things that the Big Ten wanted to do was suspend Jim Harbaugh or force Michigan to lose some games or whatever. And this is where all the drama comes in. Because University of Michigan sent the letter back to the NCAA as requested and basically said, we got all the dirt. We know where the skeletons are buried.
Screw you.
If you come after us, we telling it all. In a nutshell, that's what they said. So the Big Ten and its coaches, they don't want all this dirt to come out. Michigan sent proof. Michigan sent proof to the Big Ten in their letter of Ohio State and Ohio State and Rutgers giving Purdue their offensive and defensive signals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So basically, Michigan is saying, listen, y'all come after us if you want to. Come after us if you want to.
It's going to get real dirty.
It's going to get dirty. It's going to get dirty.
In the mud. Everybody's going to get muddy.
So, Dante, you the Big Ten commission. What you going to do if Michigan sent you that letter?
Well, two things on that, Rod. I'm glad you brought up the point about Ohio State and what's been going on with that. One of the things that I had mentioned to you that I saw as well this week, and I like to play my music because I like conspiracies. Your state where you live, Rodney, some of your state representatives actually has sent the Big Ten commissioner a letter as well, basically telling him to stand down. So this kind of goes with what you're saying, because if Michigan gets investigated, stuff is going to leak out about them. So Rodney, refresh my memory. I forget the other guy's name to involved with Michigan that was fired.
You talking about the
What's his
assistant
name,
coach? Hold on, let me get
I'm
for
going to
you.
my conspiracy. What was his name?
Hold up, I'm about to give it to you.
Why you speak? What was his name? Well, Rodney's looking that up. The point being, guys, this is threefold. Connor Stalion, again, I like Connor Stalion. This guy's awesome with military background. He is a true patriot of Michigan.
A true
Matt
patriot.
Weiss. Connor Stalion is a true patriot, not only to his country, to Michigan, because he took the fall. He took the grenade to protect Matt Weiss and Jim Harbaugh. Remember what Matt Weiss got fired for? The computer stuff. Connor Stalion was sending them all the video and everything to Matt Weiss. And Matt Weiss was cleaning all that up, which goes back to what Rodney said. Jim Harbaugh knew what was going on. Jim Harbaugh hired Connor Stalions. This is full circle conspiracy, man. And that's why when I saw that the state representatives, a few of them, sent letters to the Big Ten commissioner, basically telling him to stand down because basically it would affect Michigan's money. Because Michigan's potentially going to go in the playoffs and all. We know how much money they make from the bowls, everything with that. So that's why I like to play by conspiracy. But it ain't a conspiracy. It's all coming full circle. But like you said, Rodney, what's up with the Big Ten? They're basically punking the new Big Ten commissioner.
Michigan.
What are they gonna do? They're gonna fire him? Can these
great.
college administrators or whatever all come together collectively and fire the new Big Ten commissioner?
Yeah, what you just said. Michigan is straight punking Petiti. He this is the worst thing that could ever happen to him. You know, he thought, I got this Big Ten job, we got all the money coming in. It's great. Life is wonderful. But again, it's one of those things where you got all these people that go to the principal's office and start telling on one of the fellas in the yard, right? And then the fella in the yard is like, okay, you gonna tell on me? Well, I know you stole some candy. I know you punched that girl. I know you kicked in the door. You pulled a fire alarm. So I'm telling on all y'all. And this is what Michigan doing. So now that the other folks in the yard are saying, well, you know what, Mr. Principal, well, maybe we shouldn't mess with him. So Ohio State, the rumor is Ohio State called the Big Ten commissioner and told them directly, stand down. Because Ohio State knows. Here I am with my Dante stuff. It's conspiracies. Ohio State knows that they got just as many skeletons in their closet as Michigan does. All these teams cheat. They all do the same stuff.
And that's what they're using on them. They're basically saying, look, if you want this to be bad for us, we're gonna make it so bad for everybody else.
Yo, so, we all going down.
Cheating, you ain't.
So, and Michigan is like, okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna have Connor go ahead and fall on his sword. Do the noble thing, fall on his sword, and then we'll just call it even. How about that?
So hold up.
Ultimately, I think that's what's gonna happen, though, right?
So hold up. The thing today, they were supposed to come out. The Big Ten was supposed to say something today, right? Everybody, the reports were always they're gonna bring a suspension down today. Now they're saying they may say something tomorrow, right? So here's the thing: Michigan plays Penn State this weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. They're not going to suspend the coach on Friday, and they got a game on Saturday.
No,
you can't do that. So they're going to wait until next week before they do anything, right? So next week, this is my opinion of what they're going to do.
Here's writing.
Because what they said, the other rumor is they're going to hit them with a big fine. So next week, they're going to give them a 1-game suspension and a huge $200,000 fine for what's going on. Well, next week, Michigan plays Maryland, who Maryland ain't nothing. The week after they play Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna give him a 1-game suspension and a huge fine. That's what they're gonna do. All of this stuff was done for no reason whatsoever, you know. What's the breaking news, Dante?
Breaking news, Rod. If you weren't aware, Jim Harbaugh has basically been exonerated just yesterday. He won't face any repercussions. It's already been announced, and that's what I was saying because of the Michigan State representatives got in there involved in the investigation. It's already out. It's been posted that no damage is going to come to Jim Harbaugh because, as the investigation said, if there's no investigation, he can't be prosecuted or anything without the investigation first. So like you were just alluding to, Rod, Jim Harbaugh is going to be able to play out the rest of the season until the investigation is done. So he won't be suspended at all or anything until after a formal investigation is performed. And what did we just say? Well, they're telling the Big Ten commissioner, drop that investigation. So Jim Harbaugh is Teflon Don. He's walking around smiling because like 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago, when Jim Harbaugh finally came out, he said, we're just going to let this all play out and it'll all go away. Those were his exact words almost 2 weeks ago. Like he said, he's let it play out and this is about to all go away.
So it's a fun story to follow. It's funny. That's what it is. It's just a funny story. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect anything one way or the other. Because everybody is like I say, everybody. I don't even say stealing signs because your signs are right there, visible to everybody. They record everything. Mm-hmm. So if I want to go back and look at the video of you making these plays, well, I can do that. So what's the actual difference? But like I said, Connor took it a little
he took it to the next level,
to a higher level, you know. But hey,
chilling on the sideline.
Who is that said if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying? Who was that?
It probably was you.
But anyway,
you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That expression, but yeah, that goes back to years. We knew that. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
But the question here's
that might be the classroom days, right? Not on the sports field.
We gonna get off this, but the last question for both of y'all is: if nothing comes of this, and Michigan is they play like they're supposed to play, and they make it to the championship game. Let's say they actually win the championship. Is the championship tarnished?
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. With a big ass asterisk, but that's what the NCAA does. They wait for stuff to play out, let them get all that money from the bowls and everything, and then they'll come back like a year, 2 years later, and then strip the title away. But they already got their money. Everybody's gone, been paid. We know what's going to happen. We've seen this story before. It's like with Jim Boeheim in Syracuse.
I mean, technically, yeah, it's tarnished, but we all know, like you said, this always goes on. This goes on in not just football and all the sports. It's a little bit of cheating going on, and it has been that way for years, and it will continue to go that way. So, I mean,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, bottom line, it'll continue to go on, and I don't think anybody, they won't, if they're concerned about it, they won't be concerned about it for too much longer.
Hold on, let me see who said it. Joe Montana said it.
not Joe.
he wasn't the first to say it, but he said it.
Joe
Richard
Montana?
Petty, he quoted it.
Not Joe, my guy.
Quoted.
I know he wasn't first.
Who said it? Well, he keep going back to Joe Montana. Joe Montana
we'll give it to Joe then. We'll give it to Joe.
He ain't be the person that said this, man.
Nah, I heard it before Joe, but we'll give it to Joe.
That's right.
We'll let Joe hold it.
For Blaming on the Boogie podcast purposes, Joe Montana was the one that said it.
I heard that wrong.
Right, hey, Joe got to hold it. Joe got to hold it.
we gonna let Joe have that. But yeah, so here's the thing. To me, it's let's go back. It's kind of like Barry Bonds, right? Mm-hmm. Barry Bonds was a great baseball player before anybody said he ever took one PED, right? Mm-hmm. Even if he did take the PED, Barry Bonds was a great baseball player. Mm-hmm. The Michigan Wolverines team is a great team. And they've built this team up for the last 3 years. They had, they averaged about nine different players being drafted from their team for the last 3 years. They're only behind Georgia and Alabama as far as players getting drafted. So Harbaugh has built a nice program. So, and if you watch them play, whether or not they had a players or not, they're killing teams. They're absolutely killing teams. Which, some will say they're killing them because they got, they know what's going to happen. But for the most part, they're killing teams because they have the best talent. You look at this team, there's going to be about 12 players on this team that get drafted this year. So, to me, Michigan is just a really good football team. And if they win it, they're deserving to win it. You can't. My issue is the biggest problem I have is whatever the coaches did, the coaches did. Don't take away from what the players did, because the players are the ones out there playing the game, giving up their bodies or whatever to make the plays. So don't take away what they did. If they win,
and the players only have that limited time, exactly. And those limited years in order to to play for their school.
Exactly. So now which brings me to this subject. And that's the college football rankings. Since we want Michigan is one of the top 4 players that's qualifying for the college football playoffs. So I think it's the way they have it ranked. The top 4 right now is Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and then Florida State. All 4 teams are undefeated. But prior to the college football rankings, Georgia was first, Michigan was second. I think was Florida State third, and then Ohio State. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So, or either Florida State was third or Ohio State was third, whatever the case. But they've switched it.
Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, top 4.
Say it again. Say it again, Dante.
So Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. You say Washington.
So the point, I guess, where you're going with that. So what Rod's trying to allude to, what the question is saying, what are the CFP rankings, the CFP committee? What criteria, what formula do they use that wasn't already used the previous 8 weeks before they come out with the quote-unquote CFP rankings? Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, dudes, and to all our viewers and everything, and I challenge everyone viewing this, you don't forget to go subscribe, go look up the CFP committee's playoff ranking formula. You won't find it anywhere. So what do they use that's different from the AP, the coaches poll, from strength of schedule and everything else? What do they use that's so unique that they can turn around this 4-man, 8-man committee? They're bigger than all the coaches out there. They're bigger than the AP, who's been doing this forever. Who gave them the power to give them this subjective ranking? And this is part of the problem with the playoff. It's all rigged. The committee and the media decide who's going to play. Why change the rankings? Everything plays out anyway. So that's why we're posing this question to everybody out there tonight, because a lot of folks don't think about this. But ESPNs and all these people, they hype it up. Oh, the new CFP rankings are coming out. Here's the new poll. From what? The same teams, the same players, the same schedule that's already been made in years in advance. So what changes the formula of ranking? That's the right now. And we'll get to another SHAM later. So what do you think it is, Rod?
So the thing that I don't like with the college football playoff ranking is that it is too subjective. And what you're doing is you're putting a group of people in the room and they're deciding who the best teams are. Mm-hmm. I much prefer. I'm looking forward to when they have the 16 teams in a couple of years. That's going to be a lot better. You have your conference champions, and then you have your at large bids to allow it to open up. So then, even though the rankings, unfortunately, the rankings are always going to be subjective, it won't be as subjective.
Go to 12. Go to 12 first.
You go to 12? Yeah, I'm sorry, 12. But they'll be subjective, but not as subjective. The way they're doing it right now, I mean, they take into account like the other polls that are out there, and then they push that together, and then they twist it in with what each one of the people, the athletic directors, and all these other people think, and then they come up with this number. It's easier to calculate your credit score than it is to figure out how the college football rankings are done. All right, so.
An AP poll does already. Those are the professionals.
Mm-hmm. But to Dante's point, the rankings are a sham because
so why do you need
what they're designed for? What they're designed for is to give ESPN. Man, I sound like Dante with all my conspiracies. They're designed to give ESPN more content to play during the week. Because now every week they got this college football playoff show. Mm-hmm. So
who paid college playoff? ESPN. It's their product. So they can dictate to these committees which teams they want. That's why they manipulate the Pac-12 teams, the Big 12 teams. Money. It's kind of like baseball. We're talking about with the Raiders. They don't want these teams that don't play defense and all this. They want those teams that ESPN knows that draws the most money as far as advertising because ESPN runs this. Why is it how many 8 guys, whatever the committee is, a bunch of 50, 60-year-olds or whatever running a sport that our kids play? They have no idea about it. It's all about money because they're being paid by ESPN. And I can't express this enough for people that do not know. Let me say this very slowly. The CFP championship, whatever they're calling it, it is an exhibition. It is not a NCAA sanctioned championship. People don't realize that or understand it. It is an exhibition game put together by ESPN and this adjunct committee. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Go try to find any information anywhere. It's college football playoff by the NCAA. It is an exhibition game. The trophy and everything has nothing to do with the NCAA, like Division II football. That's actually sanctioned by the NCAA. So the Division II champion is a true NCAA champion. The college football playoffs winner, you're asterisk. You're exhibition champ. You were put there. It's a sham. It's not a conspiracy. This is a fact. America's been bamboozled since the onset of the BCS, and it still goes on today. They just changed the acronym.
Mm-hmm. So it's about this, y'all. It's about that cream, y'all.
I'm sorry, y'all get hype when it comes to college football, the playoff system.
That's what it's all about, y'all. Did y'all hear it?
Dollar bill.
Dollar bill, y'all. Dollar bill, y'all. If not, I'm gonna put it in there. But
I heard that. We heard that.
Let's get off the NCAA football and let's move to a little NFL football. So Dante brought this up to me, and I missed this story, but after I read it, it kind of pissed me off what my man said. So, last week, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders fired his head coach and the staff and elevated his linebacker coach, Antonio Pierce, to the head coaching position. Antonio Pierce is a former NFL player, played for the New York Giants, linebacker for the Giants. And so, brother, I think he might be 40-ish, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a article written about him by Phil Mushnick, who's a New York Post columnist. And I'm gonna let Dante start this one off before I have my little say into this.
Right on, Rob. Well, first of all, let me go back real quick. First and foremost, congratulations to Antonio Pierce being elevated and promoted to the head coaching position for the Raiders. One of the things I wanted in this first game. Now, does that represent a Raider, a 6'4" Impala, or does that not represent a true Raider fan? And that's what you see when it comes to the Raiders. So to me, he's perhaps the most relatable as Raider coach, even Mark Davis himself. So first and foremost, I wanted to put that out there. But to Rodney's point, this guy right here, Schmucknick, as I like to call him, he has a long history of throwing racial epithet again out there, especially amongst African-American players and any athlete. But he has a long history. And last week, or earlier this week or last week, you see the date there. This is one of his columns that he wrote in his New York Post column about Antonio Pierce, basically saying it's an embarrassment. But the thing that stood out to me was, as you see there in yellow, right? And I'm going to blow this up so everybody is able to see this. First of all, like you said, Rodney, he talked about the history of Antonio Pierce brandishing illegal guns. Rodney, I think we talked about, remember when he talked about how he left his dogs unattended, got in trouble for that. This part here, he basically said Roger Goodell, needs to do a better job. So what he said was, a more discriminate, cautious chief executive would not have allowed this. So basically, a more discriminating white chief executive would not have allowed this illegal gun brandishing, a bad pet owner to run an NFL team. Again, this is the same Phil Schmutnick that I talk about, who has a history of this. If you guys recall when Jay-Z bought the Nets, he wrote a column when Jay-Z revealed he was the new uniforms. This is quotes right from Phil Mushnick's own column. And he's still writing. He was using the N-word, bitches and hoes, and this was in his actual article, y'all. And then, it just doesn't go to the athletes. Back in 2016, when he talked about I got right there Chance the Rapper when he threw out the first pitch in Chicago. Windy Pity. He said all kind of stuff about Chance the Rapper in here, about him smoking, about his illegitimate kids, or whatever the case may be, even about his music. This is the guy that I cannot understand why he still has a job. We've seen other folks get fired for less by accidentally doing things, saying different things. This guy writes 2 columns a week, and it's publicized everywhere, syndicated across the country. How is this allowed to happen? And it kind of goes back to the same things that we saw with the Adam Johnson situation. That's why I went to Phil Mushnick's page before he even said this about Antonio, because I knew about this, to see what he had to say in regards to maybe the Matt Petgrave situation. But so far, he hasn't said anything, which I'm shocked about. But I wanted to bring that because I go, here he goes again. This guy again, and it's to stay relevant. He's old and antiquated. He's behind the times. This is somebody who should not still be allowed to, well, it's freedom of speech, I guess. But the things he said, Rodney, me, you, we said some of the things that he says about certain individuals, we wouldn't have a show, first and foremost. We wouldn't be able to write. Nobody would follow us or whatever the case may be. But this guy's been working for the New York Post for, what, 30 years? And this is allowed to go on? That's why we brought this up tonight, guys.
All right, so let me get into this right quick. So again, I had no idea who Phil Mushnick was until Dante pointed him out to me. And then I read several of his articles. And in these articles, you can tell a couple of things. First thing you can tell is that he was probably the creator of MAGA. He's the one that started MAGA because all the things that MAGA stands for, that's what he writes about. He writes about basically how these black athletes are taking jobs away from white people. That's what he talks about. He uses the black vernacular to try to show some kind of point, which nobody knows what point what he's bringing up. But about this Antonio Pierce thing, he goes and talks about what Antonio Pierce did when he was 30 years old. He's 45 right now, right? Yes, he did leave his dogs alone when he went to the Super Bowl. Could he have done something different? Could he have hired somebody to come over and take care of the dogs? Yes. Could he have asked the neighbors to take care of the dogs? Yes. But what he did was what he thought was the right thing to do. He left a bunch of food, left a bunch of water, and he went to the Super Bowl. Right? So anyway, so that was bad. But I mean, nobody died. The dogs didn't die. None of that happened. Was it a bad situation? Yes. But for you to hold this over this man's head 15 years later is just absolutely unimaginable. Then you talk about, in this same article, he talks about how he helped his friend. Plaxico Burress and Antonio Pierce were at a club, just enjoying themselves. And for those of you that remember the situation,
that's the night.
Plaxico Burress
shot himself. Yep.
Plaxico Burress own weapon discharged, and he shot himself. Right. So Antonio Pierce, he's like, well, how did your friend shoots himself? You don't call the police? No, I'm not calling the police because we know that this is not right. I'm gonna try to help him out. So Pierce allegedly took the gun away and took him to the hospital. Right. So if I just pray, if I shot myself, the dudes would take the gun and take me to the hospital. Right. That's what friends are supposed to do.
So without even thinking twice.
Without even thinking twice. And for you to
but see, it's my gun.
When he writes his stories,
it wasn't a list.
Exactly. When he writes his stories, it's always about, I gotta put the black man down. If you go look at when Kobe Bryant died, he wrote an article about how bad of a person Kobe Bryant was.
Kobe,
right? Yes. I just read this. When the man died in a helicopter crash, you don't send condolences to the family. You don't, say, it's a horrible thing that the man died. What you go and talk about is all of the bad things that he stood for that you didn't like. Mm-hmm. That's the type of person he is. And just like we were talking about the University of Michigan, how that they know about all these other skeletons that these folks have in their closet, I would be willing to bet you he got just as many skeletons in his closet.
Oh yeah.
And let somebody write about that stuff and bring him out. Then of course, I need to sue you. I'm gonna sue you or whatever. Like I said, he's a leader of the MAGA movement, man.
Oh yeah,
that's what he does.
And and you know, what's prevalent in this climate right now is everyone is lacking grace. You know, showing grace to others, but they expect grace when something happens to them or when they slip up or you know they mess up and do something wrong.
You can't do
begging,
wrong.
Yeah, you're begging for grace, but the same grace that you're not willing to give. You just want to cancel people and throw them away.
You got the biggest criminal in the history of our country, and Donald Trump, who has created billions of dollars for his family, but yet everybody wants to give him grace. And I'm pretty sure Phil he feels the same way. Donald Trump deserves grace, but Antonio Pierce, who paid his dues by being an assistant coach, you know, and worked his way up, you know, got the opportunity to become a head coach, and all you want to do is bring up all this bad stuff in his past. Come on, man.
Yeah, he should be out on the corner begging for change or something, spare change.
Exactly. You know, it's one of those things where
it's sad.
You should be grateful, and that's the whole thing. You should be grateful that we allowed you to have this position. Man, shut up. This dude, man. The fact that the New York Post continues to employ this guy, and again, and I just read these stories tonight, y'all. I just read these stories tonight, and I was amazed at how many times
I've known about him for years, right?
I'm amazed at how many times
but I'm pretty sure he has a faithful backing as well, or a bunch of followers.
Just like all the people on Fox News. Just like all the folks on Fox News.
Do a whole show and just feel racist stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing he said about Jay-Z was just crazy. That you to write in the New York Post in the article about he should change the name to the New York niggas. Come on, man. New
York niggas, bitches and hoes.
But yet you this man is employed.
Here's the quote I like, Rodney. Where like you said right here, such obvious, wishful, and ignorant mischaracterizations of what I write or comment. I don't call black men the N-word. I don't regard young women as bitches or whores. I don't glorify the use of assault weapons and drugs. Jay-Z, on the other hand, is he the only NBA owner allowed to call black men niggers? So what he's basically saying, if Jay-Z can do it, I can't. Jay-Z profits from the worst and most sustaining self-enslaving stereotypes of black American culture, and I'm the racist? Some truths, but I guess are just hard to read. Like, that's his own word. So he's basically admitting, yeah, I might be a little racist, but because I'm basically saying this, you know, Jay-Z can say it, black people say it, but I can't. So now I'm a racist because I'm using the words that y'all use in your music and everything else. Like I said, Rodney, that's why I want to bring it up. I don't want to stay on Phil Schmutnick, but I'm going to tell you, message to Phil. You blame it on the Boogie's radar. And from us, I'm going to tell you.
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
Nah, we don't like that. We don't like that.
We don't like that. So
we don't like that.
What's up with Schmutnick? But you don't watch, you don't know the Schmutnick. We don't like that.
Nah, we about to have all of our fans write letters to the New York Post, man. This dude got to go. He has got to go.
Hey, tell us what you think about that.
It's time for him to retire, man.
Put some comments.
It's time for him to retire.
Comment section. Yeah, what y'all know about? Hey, we should start a poll on our comment page, right? And we'll see what our viewers think about Phil and what they think should happen to Phil Schmutnick.
Gotta do something. This idiot got to go.
I'm done talking about this guy. He's a waste.
Get a little warm. So, all right, let's get off of that.
Rodney's stripping, y'all.
Let's get off of that.
Only he got that OnlyFans.
It's getting hot in her.
Rodney got his OnlyFans dudes.
It's getting
he's stripping on y'all.
Or in the words of Teddy Pendergrass, take it off.
Take it off. All right, let's get to our NBA, man. We got to talk a little NBA.
That's it. Oh.
So, beginning of NBA season, the commissioner has rolled out a new twist to the NBA season, and that is the what do they call it? The NBA tournament? What do they call it?
NBA in-season championship, right?
The in-season championship. Dudes, you the pro, bro.
It's the
You
cup.
pro. Tell us what you know about it. Other than the fact that you're trying to go to Vegas in December.
Yeah, the NBA Cup. But like I said, look, I'm not as educated on it yet as I should be. I know I'm going to. I want to go to Vegas to go to it too. But
let's go.
But I mean, just getting down to the nuts and the bolts of it is, to me, it seems like the NBA is trying to motivate their players to care. Normally, during it seems like for some reason in the regular season, the players, show lack of effort, like they don't really care much about, winning or losing. They don't care much whether they play or not. And so I believe they're using this in-season tournament as a method of getting them to care about the regular season and to, because, I mean, let's face it is a lot of games. So, and then, when you get to the January dog days of the season and, it's a lot of games. So they're trying to find a way to make all the games important now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just giving the players some incentive. I mean, now we're old school, so we figure if you get paid, y'all old. So if you get hundreds of millions of dollars to play, to us that should be incentive enough to go all out. But for some reason,
every day,
some reason people get $100 millions of dollars to play, and they just want to sit back in the stands and eat nachos or whatever and just chill and enjoy the game that they're supposed to be playing in. They're pulling a Lauryn Hill, not showing up for their own show.
Not showing up for the show.
I believe this in-season NBA Cup is a method to try to get them to care and to try to make the games meaningful.
So I like the idea, of doing this tournament.
Okay.
I just don't like when they did it.
I got an interesting take, and I'm gonna let Rodney likes it.
To me, it would have been better. It would have been a better idea to have a mid-season tournament.
Go ahead, Rod. You're on the right side. You want to
to where because if you'd done a mid-season tournament, then at least there's something. Because right now, if they win, then what? It doesn't tie to like the playoffs, the final playoffs or whatever. If they had like the mid-season tournament, at least the winner of the mid-season tournament, we guaranteed a playoff spot. Yeah, give it some incentive like that. I don't really understand the beginning of the season why you would have this tournament. To actually think about it, I'm not the only one that doesn't understand it because the players really don't understand the purpose.
No, they don't either. So we don't have to feel so bad.
Yeah. So, and it's not. I don't care what Adam Silver thought what it would do. It's not doing it because, bruh, this year has been the funniest year ever because players are taking games off already. I'm
in
talking
the first 4 games.
2 games into the season, you got to rest. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. So it's not accomplishing the purpose that he wanted it to accomplish. It's not like
was he trying to add like weight to the beginning of the season? Maybe.
Well, he was trying to make the players. Why do you say make the players? He was trying to incentivize.
I'll give you 2 points of why he did this.
Go ahead, Dante. Give me the 2 points.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm piggybacking off of what you were kind of alluding to, and what you pointed out was you would have preferred a mid-season tournament, which would have been great. But what guarantees that just because you win the mid-season tournament, you shouldn't guarantee them a playoff spot because that team might go on a 10-game losing streak and their record doesn't mean anything. The reason Adam Silver did this is, as you see right there, it's because of ratings, just like Major League Baseball. The NBA's ratings are horrible now. And part of when the NBA season starts, as we all know, nobody watches the NBA until Christmas. That's when the big games are. Football is going on right now. Baseball just finished. They can't compete with all that going on. So he thought by putting in this beginning of the season tournament, that was going to draw people to go watch more NBA games. Like you said, James Harden ain't been there. Hey, at least Kawhi's played 8 games this season. This is the most games he's played in a row like since he's been in the league. But that's not what the problem is. Going back to the other thing, Rodney, why have a midseason tournament? Where you do this cup is at the end of the season. And it goes back to the draft pick and for the lottery. If you do this tournament at the end of the season, get rid of the lottery and the balls. You make the teams that don't make the playoffs play this NBA Cup. And that's what you use to determine the draft order. That's more interesting to watch. So you're watching the NBA playoffs, and then when the game isn't on, you get to watch the playoff like we have in my fantasy league football, right? There is no tanking. You know what I'm saying? You got to play to earn your spot. That's what Adam Silver should have did. But this was all about ratings and trying to get viewers at the beginning of the season, where we all know, like Duel said, nobody really watched to December and January. Mainly Christmas Day is the real NBA season opener. And it has always been like that for years. We all know this. So this was a horrible idea. The records don't change. The games count. You're still going to have the same record at the beginning of the season. And whoever wins the cup, they're not guaranteed any spot in the playoffs at the end of the season, right? So it was totally stupid. But it was all to try to draw our eyes to the NBA at the beginning of the season.
Well, I disagree with having the losers play a tournament. Yeah, at the end of the season, because I mean, who's going to want to watch the losers have a tournament at the end of the season? The worst teams in the NBA. I don't think that'll work. I think, yeah, and then the NBA championship, that's your tournament.
Who's watching the tournament at the beginning of the season?
Well, we're about to find out. we're about to find out. This will be the first one, so we'll find out. But like I said, I think I mean, we all know why they're doing it. But
hey, dude, I don't exactly. I know one person. I know who will watch it at the end of a season. At the end of a season, playoff for the non-playoff teams, Rodney. Because if the Knicks didn't make the playoffs, he would definitely watch to see and hope that his Knicks win that loser bracket tournament to get the number 1 seed. And
no,
that's
I agree. I agree with that.
It's a true fan of their team. If they don't make the playoffs, well, hell, at least we can try to win. You see what I'm saying?
But I think
all those teams that are right there on the bubble that didn't make it.
I don't think you're gonna get much viewership for the losers, though.
NBA, less teams. That's interesting. Who's the worst team in the NBA right now? Probably Charlotte or whatever.
Washington.
Washington beat Charlotte last night.
Oh, they did? Well, maybe it is Charlotte. Maybe it is Charlotte.
Hey,
yeah, Charlotte
them two would be perfect. Those would be 2 perfect examples of 2 teams fighting to get the number 1 seed, draft pick, for the following year in a tournament like that.
But so the only problem with that, Dante.
So that's why we got that. That's what's, to me,
the only problem with the tournament to determine who gets the draft pick is that they at the bottom of the league for a reason. So what you're gonna have is the teams that barely miss the playoffs. Those are gonna be the ones that get the top pick. Yeah, those are gonna be the ones that get the top picks. So the bottom teams will never be able to improve. The Detroit Pistons will never get
it's not guaranteed, right? Because they have to take it to the court. It's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed, Rob. It's not guaranteed. That team, like we said, that might just miss the cusp of making the playoffs, they're not guaranteed that top pick because they might lose. Like Dude said, Washington might be a Memphis Grizzly team in the first round of the loser bracket. But you still keep playing on. So there's no guarantee in that. So get rid of all the ball, the frozen lottery balls and all this stuff. That's a spam. That's a waste of time to watch. Nobody wants to see the draft lottery. We did a whole show on the draft lottery because we like basketball. But other than that, it's just a show. So put on a better show where you can actually make money. Because those teams that wouldn't have made the playoffs, well, guess what? Those cities. I think it's a
possibility that it could work. Mid-season, it could possibly work, but we'll see. It depends on how they market it, and we'll see. I mean, I wish it had never came to this, where you have to incentivize guys to want to play a sport where they get paid handsomely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it. I just can't imagine it. I can't fathom we've come to this point, but we're here.
Well, remember this cup wasn't part of incentivizing. Remember, they passed all the new rules and everything with the collective bargaining so that these guys can make their money and everything. They didn't play a certain amount of games. This had nothing to do with the cup. Those rules are already implemented. That's why, like I said, you see Kawhi out there. Kawhi can't get another max contract if he don't play so many games. You know what I mean? So this cup had nothing to do with that as an incentivize. They've already established that with the new rules.
Well, I mean,
play a certain amount
when
of
we say incentivize,
this again is just a filler.
We're understanding that they're not saying that they're incentivizing using the cup, but we all know that's what's really happening. I mean, look at how much they're getting paid. The winner of the cup, they're getting paid more than the championship. They get paid more than that. So yes, that's an incentive.
Yeah, the pay that they get for
but
this
like Rodney said,
tournament is more than
like Rodney said. What good is that incentive?
Rodney said what?
But like Rodney said, if you ain't got people like James Harden playing in the games and some of these players out here hurt already, your boy AD, then that tournament is going to be garbage.
Well, that's with any sport, though. If the major players don't play, then of course it's not going to be as attractive to watch as if they were playing. So
we're talking about basketball, though. We're talking about this cup. We're talking about the NBA Cup and players not playing games like James Harden, guys already on the load management already. 8, 9.
Well, James got what he wants, so he'll be playing now.
Dude, you could have just kept
playing. He will be playing.
Yeah, he'll be playing now. He got
so real quick, since y'all brought that up, update on James Harden. He did get traded to the Clippers, and they've looked absolutely horrendous.
Oh,
they
man.
have been. They got beat by the Knicks. They got beat by the Nets. And who they play next?
I think they play somebody good next too, don't they?
Where they the Clippers? Not 18. They were.
Is it Dallas?
When they made the trade, they were 3-1, and they've lost 3 straight games since they made that trade. Harden has only played in 2.
They play Dallas.
That's how much people want to be.
They play Dallas next. Yeah. So that trade. And you know what? My thing is a
garbage product.
My thing is, I don't even. I have no sympathy for the Clippers because they brought this mess onto themselves.
Exactly. They didn't need Harden.
They didn't need Harden. They did it anyway. Matter of fact, Tyronn Lue didn't even want Harden.
Yeah.
But they did it. They did it anyway. So they, like I said, they made this bed. They're gonna have to lie in it. But what we're gonna do is, we're gonna wait until the beginning of December when they have the actual finals of this tournament to see how we actually like it. To see.
I don't care, right? They still shouldn't have lost to the Knicks. They shouldn't have lost.
They should have lost to the Knicks, man. They should have lost to the Knicks.
No, they shouldn't have lost to the Knicks.
Just like
I don't care if you just play. If the players just met each other today, they should have still beat the Knicks.
Hey, man, my number 5 power forward is doing his thing the last 2 days.
Before we
last 2 games, Julius is coming back. He started off absolute man. He started off 1 for 38 from
It was
three.
only from where he was. It was only one way to go, one direction to go.
He couldn't get worse, bro. It couldn't get worse than
Yeah,
what
when
it
you
was.
flat on your back, it's only one way to go up.
Now, speaking of flat on their backs, let's talk about them big ballers.
It's hard like that, y'all. Hey, before we move to our, we're gonna stay in the NBA. Bring it back, take it back, Rob. Hey, don't forget, y'all, hit that subscribe.
So, just a little thing for you. When you click that button,
Got it up. Yeah.
oh, that's the one you was trying to bring up, the monkey business.
The monkey man.
Oh yeah.
So,
because these
let's
next
talk-
NBA
let's
stories
talk
we're
about
talking
that
about,
monkey
they can
business.
qualify as monkey business. Yeah, these next stories can qualify as straight NBA monkey business. Go ahead and
The
put
whole
that
business.
that liner back up there, Rod. The whole business.
So, Big Baller Brand,
Big
Big
baller
baller.
brand.
for y'all that don't remember,
Alan Foster Schools
it used to be
Farm.
it used to be in the news all the time a couple of years ago when they had Lonzo Ball getting drafted by the Lakers. He fizzled out and they traded him to New Orleans, and then they traded him to he signed as a free agent with Chicago. Thankfully, because he was about to sign with the Knicks. And he hasn't played since he got there. And then you had LaMelo. You had LaMelo getting drafted
LaMelo, right?
by Charlotte, and LaMelo is going the way of a lot of these players that get this big fat contract and then disappear, because LaMelo is having one of the worst seasons possible. He up there with
I watch a lot of Charlotte's games. What I see with LaMelo, right, is too much freedom.
Yeah, they don't want to rein him in, man.
Yeah, nobody's reining him in. So LaMelo is a great
he's
passer,
whatever,
and he's just out there just shooting, just jacking, and nobody's saying anything, and it's costing the team.
Well, so the problem is he got that James Harden. They gave him too much power. So now you've allowed him to do the same thing he's doing now for the first 4 years of his career, and now you want to pull him back? It doesn't work like that. You made this bed. Now you got to lie in. So he's out there shooting. His shot is off, and he keeps shooting. He keeps shooting. He keeps shooting, and Charlotte keeps losing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say the same thing about Julius Randle.
Shot, fellas.
So what's his issue now, Dante?
So there's the man behind it all. That's Papa LeVar, as you see. So he was sued back in 2019 by his former business partner, which you're going to see here, for basically stealing $2.5 million. So why is this all coming back around full circle? The Big Baller Brand co-founder, Mr. Alan Foster himself, is suing LaMelo about them damn shoes. Got to be the shoes. LeVar and Puma for $200 million for trademark infringement. And there it is right there. That MB1 shoe that we just saw, that your boy LaMelo sports out there, yeah, them things. By the way, all of them are ugly except, I guess, that white shoe.
Horrible.
But anyway, all of them are terrible. Mr. Foster is the one who helped LaMelo bring that brand to fruition. And now LaMelo turning around and trying to be shady like his daddy and ran off with Puma and signed a $100 million deal with Puma for that shoe and that brand that we see LaMelo sporting all his Puma gear in. Well, now Mr. Foster filed a lawsuit and he's now suing LaMelo as well for $200 million. And what's crazy, as Alan Foster stated in his quote, LaMelo knew that this guy did all this, knew what was going on, and yet he still did it anyway. And that's where I see LaMelo being just like his daddy. You can't trust him. That's that.
Well, I thought that was because I used to, I have to admit, I used to watch the YouTube show, the reality show, And I thought Alan Foster was his dad's
you're gonna admit
buddy.
you had some MB1.
Yeah, Alan Foster
business
was the
partner.
dad's buddy. Yeah, who was crooked. And so the dad brought LaMelo into the mix. At a young age, he gave LaMelo a shoe when he was in high school. So I wouldn't blame LaMelo as much as I would blame the dad.
He just helped him.
And even watching the reality show back when I was watching it, Lonzo kind of caught wind of what was going on. And, you know, he was trying to tell his dad, but his dad was like, hey, look, I'm in charge here. You know, it's going this way, and this is what you're going to do, and this is what he's going to do. And so it was more LeVar, you know, he's the one that fought with all this.
That's why Lonzo left.
Because that's his buddy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, Lonzo left, you know, and of course his dad was upset, but I understood what was going on. But at the time, you know, LaMelo was still up under his wing because he was in high school. So,
So part of that, Roger.
So LaMelo is guilty by association or victimized by association.
On LeVar Ball, going back to it as well. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's why he's suing LaMelo as well. Because LaMelo did this deal with Puma knowing that Foster already had the trademark. This goes back to his dad when they were Big Baller Brand. Dudes, if you remember, I never watched that reality show. When this was all going on, when Foster sued him for the money he did because he claimed LeVar was stealing money from their business, what did LeVar do? He changed Big Baller Brand to what, BSB or something like that. You remember that? So he can separate. That's how sneaky LeVar was. So,
well, what it was, Foster was
just like his dad.
No,
he
Foster,
knew that this
you
man
got it wrong. Foster was stealing. Yeah, Foster was stealing from the boys, the Ball boys. Yeah.
That's what LeVar claimed.
That's what Lonzo claimed.
That's what everybody claimed. Lonzo.
That's their counter.
No,
I know.
Yeah, Lonzo's people, when he got to the pros, they saw that. Yeah. So Foster was stealing from the balls. The balls were talent.
So here's the thing. What he's suing for is it wasn't
Lonzo's said
what Alan is suing for, what is his name? Alan Foster. What he's suing for is the fact that
I got a quick question, Rod.
They had a say it again.
Real quick, Rod. Real quick. I got a question for Dudes. Man. Real quick, Rod. If Foster was stealing from Alonzo, why hasn't Alonzo ever filed suit against Foster?
He did.
They did file suit against him.
Yeah, he filed it. That's why when he left Baller Brand,
that's why
when he left Baller Brand, he filed suit against Foster. So what Foster is claiming, and it's one of those things. It's funny, but it's one of those things where you sue me, I'm gonna sue you back. It's the same thing that Trump be doing.
That's what it is.
But what Foster is claiming is that it's not about the logo and all this stuff. He claims that he trademarked what is it? MB1. That's what he trademarked. MB1. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. You can't trade. There is no trademark that you can do with just saying MB1. You have to trade the logo. You got to trademark the design of the shoe. They didn't use none of that stuff.
Trademark the design on the shoe, right?
But they didn't use that design.
That's what he did.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't use that design. The only thing that they used was MB. The only thing they used was MB1.
So what's the design he used then?
That Puma designed their own shoe.
Yeah,
so Puma design.
Just the name.
What he's claiming is that, but you can't. That's like you trademark Dante. You can't trademark Dante. It's 100 million other people out here named Dante, right? He can't claim. You can't trademark MB1. What are you trademarking? There's nothing there for you to trademark. They didn't use your design. They didn't use the logo. right? But all he's trying to do,
logo.
Yeah.
Design.
they didn't use the logo. That's what I'm saying.
What
They use none of the big baller stuff. Puma, here's the thing, and this is where you have to think. This is all they used was MB1, Mellow Ball 1. So what you saying is you're gonna go out there. You can't trademark the initials MB. You can't. MB1 can be anything. I can make a drink called MB1. You can't trademark that. In order for you to trademark
the actual product. Yeah.
You have to have the logo, the design of the product. It's hard to get a trademark.
You can't trademark Coke 1?
Say it again.
I know. You got to have all of it. What is it? The product?
You gotta have all that stuff. And he,
like I said, MB1 is the brand. What's the product? It's the shoe. What's the logo? Which is
exactly. So that's what
so what he's alleging though. He's alleging this.
he's trying to basically he's trying to extort them, man. He wants some money. He wants some money. Give me this money and I'll go away. And then he claimed LeVar stole $2.5 million from him. That's the same money that Lonzo said that he stole from him.
Yeah, that's the same amount they said they stole from them. So
yeah. So now he trying to say LeVar did it. So
what it's
one of those
that's where I'm going with that, Rod. That's where I'm going with that. I
Where you going?
Put that back up there. So, like you said, so is this just a money grab?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to put that up to $2 million just to show him again the trademark. So, like you said, Rod. So, is this just a tit for tat money grab to money grab?
Yeah,
that's all it is.
To balance off the lawsuits each other has against each other. Hope one of them settle out.
It's a soap opera. It's one of those things. This is what happens in this country, especially
and
when
LaMelo
you have
got roped into it.
when you have money, somebody gonna sue you, and you'll pay them just so you don't have to go to court and get away from the whole thing. And that's what he's looking for. I'm gonna file this suit. You gonna pay me? I'm asking for $2.5 million. You might give me $300,000, but I'm $300,000.
Either way, I'm getting something from Either way, I'm getting something from
$200 million.
The reason why
he's funny.
Funny. Rodney, reason why I put this back up there, that bottom at the bottom in the yellow there. So speaking of that, whatever happened to the court case for the 2019? They're at the bottom for the $2.5 million. So you bring up a very good point. Where's that case at? In the legal system. That's only what 4 years? 4 years now. That's still in the legal system. Did they settle? Apparently not, because here it is again trying to sue for more money. I tried to find that case. I couldn't find any records of it, so I don't know if he got paid off and that went away. Like you're alluding to, Rodney, is he just trying to get some more money out of this? I'm gonna sue you for 200, and so that y'all don't get embarrassed out here. Y'all gonna give me $100 million. I'm gonna go away. That's what we're producing. That's why we're producing this, Rodney, to see where is this really going.
So here you go, Dante.
Who's robbing who? That's the question. That's what you say. Who's robbing who? The ball's robbing.
Let me give you a quick timeline. Let me give you a quick timeline. In April of 2019,
right on, brother.
Lonzo Ball filed a lawsuit against Big Baller Brand co-founder Alan Foster for allegedly using a fraudulent scheme to steal more than $1.5 million of his money. The lawsuit says Foster threatened to expose the Ball's family with false information to the public after he was confronted about the missing money. Ball severed ties with Foster following the feud. So that was in April. And then right after that, Foster sued that's when Foster sued LaVar, claiming that he embezzled the money from Big Brawler Brand. Right? So which was the allegations that they were bringing up when Lonzo sued him for the $1.5 million. So, and now, he bringing this stuff up. So it ain't nothing but a big soap opera, man, and
tit for tat.
But at the end of the day, he trying to strong on him, man. He wants some money. I'm gonna sue you for $200 million. You might give me 10, and I'll go away.
Money grab.
So A money grab.
Mm.
A money grab.
Mm.
But you know what ain't being grabbed?
The Ball family, or he's trying to blackmail the Ball family, is what Rod's trying to say.
D Wade ain't grabbing Gabby no more.
Oh, Gabby, I'm free, girl. Come holler at me.
So
Come
the story of the week.
Gabby, I'm free.
Story of the week. We ain't gonna spend too
More
much time
monkey
on this, but
business.
D Wade.
Real quick.
Apparently, Dwayne Wade
Allegedly.
and Gabrielle Union are going through the process of being divorced. They, allegedly, they haven't been living in the same household. Neither one of them is wearing rings anymore, and it's been going on for quite some time. But now it might actually be allegedly official that they are actually getting divorced. And that's all I got to say about that, bro. So they portrayed themselves to be, they portrayed themselves to be like the power couple in the NBA. And you hate to see it, but hey, that's what happens in Hollywood, especially because that's what they are. They're in Hollywood, and that's about it. I don't have too much to say about them.
Spend a lot of time on,
but this the one.
Me either.
This the one I want to talk about.
Hey, Gabby, I'm single. Hey, Gabby, I'm single.
We're gonna put a hashtag, Gabby, I'm single.
I take that prenup. You can keep the ring Dwayne gave.
He'll get him a shirt.
I'm single. He told me to bring it on. I'm ready.
Gabby, I'm single.
I remember from that day.
Hello, dude.
Bring it on, Geek.
Hello, dude. We're gonna say, Gabby, I'm single. Holla at me. It might not be the one he won't. It's just gonna be somebody named Gabby. He might not get the one he won't, but he might get a Gabby.
Miss Union.
Look, I was gonna make a joke about a certain Gabby, but we ain't gonna go there. Let me stop. I'm about to say, what the girl on Precious? What her name? Gabby.
Oh, dudes. You're wrong. You're wrong, my friend. You're wrong. You're wrong, my friend.
Hey.
You're wrong. Hey, but here's the
best story.
Hey, y'all, this is our gossip section. We got a new gossip section on Blame It on the Boogie. There's a new dynamic duo.
Yeah, we're gonna be starting soon, y'all.
But
right now, it's still considered monkey business. Yeah, we're gonna have a new comic. Right now, it's still under the dudes' monkey business.
We still doing the monkey business. So, what's his name? Marcus Jordan.
It's still part of the monkey until we get our new segment.
Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen have been dating for quite some time. And now the rumor is they want to actually get married, unlike Dwayne and Gabby. They want to get married. And rumor has it that Marcus wanted Michael to be his best man. To which Michael said, "Boy, if you don't shut the hell up."
Now he said, "No, I'm good."
He's like, "Man, I thought this was a fling. I thought this was one of them one night stands that turned into 10. But now you talking crazy."
Mike ain't letting that woman get a hold of his money. She already got Scotty's money. Now she's trying to get Mike's money through his son.
And then poor little Scottie Pippen Jr.
That's the question at hand.
What's the question?
No, I was agreeing with you. What is she out? Is this a money grab to get more money from a big name family, or is this real love?
It's kind of difficult to tell with Larsa, man, because
she's trying to. Because she's, my wife was watching a reality show, so she's the focus of the new reality show with the what is it? It's one of the housewives. Is it Orlando, Miami? One of them. I think Miami.
Yeah, they have their own podcast. That's right.
Yeah, and she is the focus
And they
of the
have no
reality
contest.
show. So
They're
she's
in Miami
I mean,
and LA, dude.
yeah, I know. So all this is like building her brand even more and more. So now she
It's
has
just
her
like
own reality show.
Joe Smith's wife building her
Yeah.
brand. Does Larsa have an OnlyFans?
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously.
What
Does
is it?
Larsa have an OnlyFans?
I don't know.
I don't
Dorian.
know.
We need Dorian. This
We
one
need
need Dorian.
Dorian.
We need Diddy Freak.
We need Dover. Dover would tell us.
Freaky D.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
Dick.
hey,
you know,
she's a gorgeous
and that's
woman,
what
though, man.
goes on right now, man. Right now, it's all about the clicks. You know, how many clicks can I get? How many followers can I get? Of which we want to tell y'all: click the button to subscribe, click the button to follow, click the button for the notification, click all them buttons. But yeah,
Give us money,
right?
And give us money. But that's what it's
need
all
money.
about now, man. It's all about, you know, how many clicks can I get? How many followers can I get? You know, now I'm not gonna question, you know, whether or not they're in love and this, that, and the other. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not there with them. I have no idea. I don't know if they just got together just to be a quote unquote power couple to help each other out, or if you know what they have is actual true love. I don't know. I really don't care. But at the same token, it's kind of messed up, man, that this is somebody that whose house used to go over.
What's messed up?
She used to babysit him, and he played with her sons.
Exactly. You friends with my son. You know, that's kind of that's a little on the deep side, bro.
Yeah, because she was on the other foot, and if it was Scotty,
but hold on, Rodney,
with her daughter,
exactly.
Well, hey, that might actually happen, y'all. Who's to say that doesn't happen later on? But this was Mike's whole thing.
Who
I did
knows?
a video for y'all. It's too long, but they actually they went on a couple shows and talked about, was it Paul, the PTFO show or whatever, which I watched their interview, you know, expressing their love and everything, whatnot. And Marcus basically said that whole video where Michael said about them getting married, he didn't like it. Marcus basically said his dad was joking. He talked to his dad, and there's the quote from what Marcus said about it. He's a grown-ass man. Do what you gonna do. He has no issue with it whatsoever. Whatnot. And on top of that, it don't matter what your daddy say. It's all about, we know this. You married, Rod. You're married, dudes. It's all about what she says. Mama. We all know. It's what mama think about the girl you bring it home. Daddy, don't matter with daddy. Daddy, that's my boy. But mama, when you get the green light from mama, it's all good. And that's what Juanita Benoit / former Miss Jordan said about this new couple. You see her quote. She likes it. She has no problem with it. So mama cool with it. I'm cool with it. I don't care what daddy got to say. And on the same flip side, with Larson's kids, with her son, little Scotty, she mama. He ain't got nothing to do with her grown folks' business. But just because, you know, Marcus may be coming in, what was that movie, Baby Boy or whatever? Oh, Joey, that might be an issue. But other than that, it's all good, man. We shouldn't be hating on the fact that, wait, I got to bring that back up, that she's a sexy cougar. All right? Come on, fellas. If we was back in those 75 days, come on. Like Rodney said, is she on OnlyFans? First thing Rodney said, is Larsa on OnlyFans?
Yeah, but you missed
for 50 years old.
So here's the thing, bro. For real. And just talking
on Rodney. I think you got it, Rodney. I think
no. Here's the thing. Just talking as a actual parent.
I know.
I can tell you. You know, hey, whoever you with, that's on you. You're grown. Blah 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 blah. However, I would have serious issues if one of my daughters was dating somebody that I grew up with. I would have serious. I don't care how cool I am with that person. I would have very serious issues with that. And what you just talked about with the mama can say that.
Or if your daughter babysitting that individual.
I'm pretty sure the mama ain't good with it like that.
She can say that in public. She gonna say that because she don't want to put no negative stuff out there in public.
Yes.
She don't want the backlash.
In private, oh no, you know she didn't talk to him. Boy, what's wrong with you? You know that's Scotty
black
White.
Mother too? Oh no.
Yeah. You know that's Scotty White.
They don't want you to mess with their son.
No.
I don't think Miss Benoit. I don't think Miss Benoit really would care. Because you got to remember all the things she went through with Mike. That's why they're divorced. So she understands it. It ain't like Scottie Pippen was some innocent guy himself. He has children by different women as well. I mean, this is the NBA we're talking about. We just got to be talking about Dwayne Wade and how, he has his little distractions on the side. We talked about Joe Smith last week. As his wife said, he entertains his little friends on the side. So I know what you're saying, Rod, as a father, as a husband and stuff, especially if you had a daughter, that's kind of weird. You wouldn't want that. But when they become adults, especially Marcus, like 35 or something like that?
It does not matter. I don't care. My kids can be 60 years old. They still
like
kids.
It. I know you may not like
it. Bruh, my kids can be 60 years old.
Can you control them, right? But can you control them?
I'm still dead.
You just gave your daughter's hand away in marriage recently, Rod.
Exactly. To someone that was close to her age.
I'm sure you vetted your new son.
It wasn't to somebody that was 30 years older than her.
Your daughter said, I know what you're saying, Rodney. I know you wouldn't. Hey, you'd have brought out the shotgun if your daughter would have
walked. No doubt.
But I'm just saying, this is different things. This is among stars too. And like this whole thing is about money. It's like a money grab. They're promoting. She is largely just promoting herself and her podcast and everything else, which they already have money. But the other thing is, guys, they're talking about not only marriage, we're talking about having kids. And one of the questions that was asked to Marcus is, will the kid's baby's last name be Jordan or Pippen?
And on that note, we're gonna leave her alone because I ain't about to talk about them having no kids. We're gonna get to some good stuff. To the best part of this whole show. And that's our IHSA recap. Go ahead, Dante. Tell us about what's going on.
Finish it up. Not recap. The update. Y'all know we follow it. Rodney, Duels, and Dorian's not here. They're the proud graduates of East St. Louis Senior High School in those Flyers. So y'all know we keep up with what's going on. Eastside been dominating. Just to give y'all a rundown of what happened last week. Althoff won again, but I don't count Althoff again. I don't care what title they win, it don't count. But anyway, Breeze won again. They're moving on along. So shout out to Breeze. Congratulations. Now they get to go up against Rochester next week. And then we got our very own East St. Louis Senior High School just dominated IHSA last week. Oh, Shanklin did his thing last week, the extra points. They'll be playing Kankakee. We'll get to that in a minute. And then in the 7A, unfortunate news, everybody, Collinsville lost. They finally lost. They shouldn't have been in the playoffs 7A anyway, but that's another story. And then over in the big schools, big 8A division, Edwardsville, they will be moving on. But again, we got more bad news for Belleville East. They got knocked out, so there will not be an Edwardsville-Belleville East championship for the 8A final. So we were trying to wish for that, but that ain't going to happen. So again, next week, you got Edwardsville representing the 8A, Eastside representing the 6A, and a couple of the small schools. But on following that, just a shout out to City of Champions TV and Mr. Duncan Allen Media. That's usually where you can find the East St. Louis Flyers games being broadcast. So we definitely want to give him a shout out. So if you can't make it up to the game, tune in to Duncan Allen Media, City of Champions TV on YouTube. Get that brother some support because we support everything and everybody from East St., y'all. And then, by the way, I did have another flyer. I missed that, but the mayor of East St., excuse me, they're sponsoring a big trip for everybody from East St. Louis, get in touch, check out the flyer. They have the flyer here, but they're going to be taking a busload of people up to the quarterfinal game next week. $60 a ride, food. The mayor of East St. Louis is going to be cooking, so y'all get up there. So we definitely wanted to shout out the East St. Louis Flyers as they go for another championship, back-to-back championships this year. And that's all I got on that.
Let's go Flyers. Let's go Flyers. 3 more games. Quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. Let's make it. Let's make it. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. But congratulations to the teams that won. Hopefully they'll continue and we can continue to give you guys the updates on the next episodes, culminating in the fact that the Eastside Flyers won the state championship yet again. That's what we're looking for. Well, fellas, it's been a wonderful time. We've talked about a lot of stuff tonight. And the one thing that we do want to do, this specifically for DOOZE and all of the men and women that have served. Happy Veterans Day. We want to give honor to each and every one of you and thank you for your service. D-Dub, we thank you.
Thank you. Thank you right back.
That's right. Thank me, man. Thank me, man.
Thank y'all right back.
But again, give honor and respect to a veteran this week and thank them for their service.
Shout out to all my brothers and sisters in arms, my sister soldiers. My brothers in arms.
So we've had a good, wonderful time, man. Talked about a lot of stuff. A lot of things you will agree with, a lot of things you won't. If you don't, kiss it. And guess what?
Hit us subscribe.
We out.
Blame it on the boogie.
Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. I don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Sunshine, sunshine, moonlight, moonlight, good times. Blame it on the boogie.